Ciao, I am Emme and she is my wife Effe. We are sailing the seas of life together since 2010, and just a few years ago, as we moved abroad, we decided to start sharing our adventures here on YouTube. It started more like a memory archive than a serious attempt to grow an audience, but honestly, we started to quite enjoy the process of getting out, film and edit, and of course our first followers gave us so much enthusiasm and rewarding feelings that we couldn't help but keep going. This month we reached an impressive milestone. Emme and Effe just got 500 subscribers! We are stunned and beyond grateful to all of you who subscribed, watched or commented our videos and in general spent your precious time watching our creations. More than 2000 hours watched is incredible. We are beyond grateful. You guys are definitely the reason that keep us filming these vlogs. Seriously, we couldn't be more thankful to you. Now we really want this baby community to grow and succeed. We want to meet new friends, create more videos, and in order to sustainably achieve this, we have decided to partner with Patreon, a platform for creators to offer bonus content to people who choose to support them. We just launched our page, so feel free to visit it. At the cost of a coffee or a pizza margherita, you can get some special perks like early access, dedicated articles and pictures from our trips. You will also get the chance to join us on Discord during our lives on Twitch and even get a ride on Jarvis. Of course, we couldn't do without a name for our patrons team, so welcome to the Panda Squad. Why Panda, you ask? Well, like for our logo, just because we are chill and lazy like cute little pandas, we would love to have you joining the Panda Squad right from the start, so do not forget to check this one out at patreon.com/Emme and Effe. We just left Naples this morning with an early start to avoid the rush hour as we drove Jarvis 30 kilometers south along the coast and right around Mount Vesuvio to reach Pompeii.
This is for the friends who say that the Tesla autopilot cannot work in Napoli. It works in Napoli.
Thank you, Jar!
Bravo, Jar! Even with the wild traffic.
Wild. Not now, but what?
Who is it nowadays that did not hear this name already? This ancient city, buried under 4 to 6 meters of volcanic ashes in the eruption of Mount Vesuvio in 79 AD, is today the second most visited touristic site in Italy overall, after the Colosseum of course. It was since ages on our bucket list, as it preserves a unique snapshot of daily life in Roman times, frozen at the moment it was buried. Fascinating and disturbing at the same time, we can't wait to find out this story, so we opted for a guided tour today. It was great to have a guide, as we found out from him that it didn't exactly happen just the way Hollywood would like us to believe.
Istemos, ignes, pastos per saecola in vos est, euobiturus! Right on cue!
Welcome to Pompeii. We had an excellent start, finding a Tesla destination charger not far from the Porta Marina entry gate. Porta Marina translates to sea gate, as this access to the city was indeed on the seashore 2000 years ago. Now the sea is 2 kilometers away. Here there was an harbor with docks for commercial ships, thermal baths and quarantine facilities right outside the city. Certainly, Romans knew few things about pandemics and hygiene already. Once inside the city gate, one thing is immediately clear. This place is much better preserved than your average archaeological site. Walls still have paint on them and mosaic tiles are still on the ground. A paved road brings us to the first major building, the Basilica. Its 1,500 square meter space was used to carry out business and for the administration of justice. Here, we see the first of many hints of the dramatic history of this place. The columns of the basilica all seem clean-cut at the same height, and so they were found when excavated in 19th century. The reason is that in year 62, 17 years earlier than the famous eruption of Mount Vesuvio, Pompeii suffered a massive earthquake which caused major damages. In 79 then, when the city was buried under meters of volcanic ashes, the reconstruction works only reached the 1 meter height of those new columns, and of course, this is how we found them now. One common misconception today is that most of the people in Pompeii died from the fury of the 72 AD eruption. Actually, this is false. The eruption lasted for 2 days. The first phase of Pommei's reign lasted 18 hours, allowing most inhabitants to escape. The people who stayed behind, mainly those unable to escape, for example because injured or ill, or those rich enough to be worrying for their belongings, may have thought at that point that the worst had passed. But they were wrong. Few hours later, the pyroclastic flows hit the city. Those consist of high-speed, dense and very hot ash clouds, first thrown so high in the atmosphere by the first eruption that they felt over a day long. Those ashes came down, knocking all structures in their path, incinerating or suffocating the remaining population and altering completely the landscape, including the coastline itself. By evening of the second day, the eruption was over. Nowadays, the signs and rests of approximately 1,150 bodies have been found in Pompeii. Those people have been invested by ashes at 250 degrees Celsius, causing their instant death. Their bodies have been then covered by up to 6 meters of ashes, which solidified over time. Organic remains, including wooden objects and human bodies, were entombed in the ashes, and with time, they decayed, leaving voids which archaeologists found could be used as molds to make plaster casts of unique and often gruesome figures in their final moments of life. The numerous graffiti carved on the walls and inside rooms provide a wealth of examples of the largely lost vulgar Latin, spoken colloquially at the time, contrasting much with the formal language of the classic writers.
Questa è una stanza che si trova, quella famosa città stratificata che è sotto, perché signore l'edificio più antico di Pompei, a questo livello stradale, appartiene alla fine del IV secolo, inizio terzo. Se vogliamo vedere il quinto, il quarto, l'inizio del quarto, il quinto, il sesto e il settimo, dobbiamo scavare. Ecco, questa è una casa preesistente, questo è quello che dicevo, coprire e costruire. Ovviamente non si crea, quando coprire non sempre si creavano i terrapieni veri e propri, si facevano dei muri extra, ok, di supporto a quello che andavano poi a costruire sopra. Significa che sotto rimanevano delle stanze aperte. Delle stanze aperte anche spesso ben sigillate.
Pompeii was a wealthy town, enjoying many fine public buildings and luxurious private houses, with lavish decorations, furnishings and works of art. In fact, once the city was conquered by the Romans in 89 AC, for its privileged position and vibrant cultural scene, it became the favorite holiday resort of the Roman aristocracy. You can guess what treasure were thought to be buried under here. Soon after the burial of the city by the volcano, survivors, and possibly thieves, came to salvage valuables, including the marble statues from the Forum and other precious materials from buildings. There is wide evidence of post-eruption disturbance, including holes made through walls. The city was not completely buried, and tops of larger buildings would have been visible above the ash, making it obvious where to dig. For the following century, its name and location were forgotten. The first exploration after that were made in the second half of the 17th century through the use of underground tunnels. Only with Ferdinand I, the first open-air excavations will take place, and in the 19th century the site became famous all over Europe, and part of the Grand Tour, a traditional trip through Europe undertaken by upper-class young European men as an educational rite of passage. Excavations in Pompeii continued for centuries, with several stopped during world wars and for lack of fundings. American bombings during World War II severely damaged the site as well. The archaeological work is still ongoing today, and part of the city still lies underground. From 1997, Pompeii is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it is today an invaluable source of findings and a beacon of light into Roman times daily life.
Hi guys! So we completed our guided tour. It was supposed to last for 2 hours, but it lasted 3, and the guide was amazing. Thank you, Daniele. Very recommended. Ask for Daniele if you come here and you want a guide. Now, there are many possibilities also in English and any other language really. It's good to have a guide here because it's so huge, but there are not many shields or telling the stories, so you definitely need to have a guide. It's not so expensive, only 15 euros per person for 3 hours. I think it's very cheap and very interesting. Now we are at the amphitheater. On one side of Pompeii, we only walked through a part of it, so now we want to cover freely the rest, or at least part of the rest. And we are taking a break because it's midday and it's very hot today. There you can see Mount Vesuvio or the Vulcano, and here is the amphitheater. And now we will continue our visit alone. This place is really amazing.
A few tips if you're thinking to come here during the summer. So first of all, water, bring a lot of it. There are no fountains inside the site. Bring a lot and bring it fresh. Bring a hat. Even if you don't look fashion enough, don't mind fashion here, just mind like
Survival.
Yeah, so survival is the key, so water and hat, and try to cover your shoulders. Try to come here at least with short sleeves or with a shirt, a very lightweight one, and of course comfy shoes.
Sunscreen is a must. See you later.
After a 3 hours guided tour, we had seen and heard a lot already. Anyway, walking further on through the city, we quickly realized how we just scraped the surface of what can be seen in Pompeii. This city is huge, and even if it is commonly known as Roman, it had a long history before even being conquered by the legions of Rome. To visit everything worth seeing here would require much more than a day. Therefore, we got our maps out and marked some points of interest we wanted to visit in the rest of the afternoon. If you are interested in our detailed itinerary through the city, we'll upload a map and the full blog post on our Patreon for our Panda squad to read. Anyways, first we opted for some Roman shopping reenactment and walked through Via dell'Abbondanza or Decumanus Maximum and found, well, plenty of shops. There were at least 31 bakeries in town, each with wood-burning ovens, millstones and a sales counter. Some of those counters still have painted pictures on them of what was sold there and of protective gods. Thermopolia were inns or snack bars in which hot food and drinks were sold, and in Pompeii there were nearly 100. The Thermopolium of Velutius Placidus, for example, overlooked the street directly, had a counter and several dolia, as well as a room behind the shop where customers could eat their meals. Of course, in such an important center of commerce, there were other leisure entertainment too. The Lupanare of Pompeii was a brothel for the working class and still sports erotic paintings on its walls. Those paintings were actually no decoration, but functioned as a menu, as often customers were foreigners who came by sea and could not speak the local tongue to choose the service and know the price of the lupa, the Roman name for prostitute which literally translates to she-wolf. They just had to look the picture and point to it. Thanks to the inscriptions, we nowadays know sex was very cheap at the time, as of course the upper class would not attend the lupanare as they had their personal slaves in their luxurious villas. Pompeii is an indigestion of ancient Roman life, which leaves you craving to find out more about the everyday life of the people who lived here before the terrible tragedy that struck them, but that also froze their culture and society in time under meters of ashes, so that we now can see it with our own eyes, as it really was at the time.
You hungry for a pizza, Emme? There.
Of course, we left the best for last, as in our quest to reach what should be the most beautiful and well-preserved of the Roman aristocracy villas, we venture out of the city walls from Herculaneum Gate, walk all the way through the cemetery, which features beautiful tombs and mausoleums by the way, and finally reached Villa dei Misteri. The villa is dated back to 2nd century BC, and it is famous for the series of exquisite frescoes in one room, which are usually thought to show the initiation of a young woman into a Greco-Roman mystery cult, therefore the name of Villa of the Mysteries. In addition to fine rooms for dining and entertaining, the villa had more functional spaces. For example, a wine press was discovered during excavations. It was not uncommon for the homes of the very wealthy to include areas for the production of wine, olive oil, or other agricultural products, especially since many elite Romans owned farmland or orchards in the immediate vicinity of their villas.
We're heading out now.
And it was a wonderful visit. We are so happy.
So sweaty.
So sweaty. It was great, definitely a must. Ciao Pompeii. Ciao Pompeii. So, we succeeded in visiting the Pompeii archaeological site. I think we have seen more or less everything that we could see or was open, and Effe is trying to drop water on herself to cool off because it's currently 40 degrees Celsius. And it's already some degrees less than 3 or 4 hours ago. I think we chose one of the hottest day of the year to visit this one. Not recommended, I think.
Please come in November and enjoy the site.
So now we have to kill some hours because we want to surprise our friend Daniele in Rome. We are currently in Pompeii, southern of Naples. We are back to the Zeus camping parking lot where for 5 euros an hour it's right in front of the entry of Pompeii, and they allowed us to charge at the Tesla destination charger. So we have now a 100% charge and we can drive to Rome, but we don't want to drive to Rome directly because we would arrive too early, and our friend Daniele will be home late and we want to surprise him when he's home already. So we are in contact with his girlfriend, Veronica, and it will be very nice to surprise him, we are sure. So to
We hope.
So to kill some time, we decided we will drive north and stop at some seaside location in Lazio, which is the region where Rome is located. Maybe in Gaeta, let's see. So let's drive north and find a good spot to jump in the water, because we are definitely in a need of cooling off our bodies and take a shower.
What did you like best, Anna?
What did I like best in Pompeii? Well, it's difficult to say. There are so many beautiful things. Maybe the last villa we have visited, it's really well preserved, a lot of colors, mosaics. Really cool.
Villa Mysteries.
Villa dei Misteri, the Villa of Mysteries. But in general, everything was great.
I really enjoyed the guided tour. I think it's the best way to actually experience the archaeological site. And you can either choose to have like a group visit as we did, or you can rent an official guide to have a private tour. So a couple of American guys in front of us, they had a private one, and they seem to have enjoyed it quite a lot. But from my side, from my point of view, I think that also the group visit is like really worthy of your time and your money, because you can enjoy also, you can also experience others' questions. So not only what you think and what you have doubts about, but also what others think. So yeah, it was a really nice experience, and it was definitely worth the money that we paid. Thank you, Daniele, for our guide. And thank you so much for bringing us around the archaeological site today.
Shall we drive? Let's see.
We shall. We are in Gaeta. Down there, down there.
We really needed a rinfrescatina. Do you know what a rinfrescatina is? It's when you jump in water and you get fresh. Now it's the perfect temperature here. It's like 36 something, but with a breeze. And after you jump in the water, it's the perfect one. We are really regenerated, more or less. I'm sure we will sleep well tonight. But first, we need to eat and reach Rome, which is still a 2 hours 30 minutes drive, and then surprise our friend Daniele, who has no clue we will come. Maybe. I'm not sure about it. Probably. Let's see. Let's see his face. Yeah. Who's calling me? Someone called my name.
Ecco.
Vedi, questo è il momento esatto in cui questo video potrebbe diventare il video più visto di internet.
Coffee? Coffee? No coffee? Excuse me.
No.